So now I've completed the large drawers and the doors, I can move on to the small drawers. I wanted to show a different option for creating a joint for the drawer box by utilizing the Festool system. So as you can see here, this is a finished small drawer with the lock Rabbet joinery. The way it works is the front part of your drawer has a Rabbet joint on it. The side part has a dado that matches that Rabbet. So when they lock together, as I pull on the front of the drawer, it pulls the side with it, similar to the domino joint. To create the locking Rabbet joint, I'm going to start with the vertical dado that will accept the front Rabbet. To do that, I'm going to be using the MFT3 with the cross-cutting station, the OF1400 router, and the guide stops, and a piece of plywood that I laid out some predetermined marks on to create this locking Rabbet joint. I went ahead and broke down all the material and ran the dado in the bottom of all those pieces for the bottom panel of the drawer. I've set the depth to cut at exactly 9 millimeters. I've already gone ahead and installed the same style bit that I used to make the dado in the drawer sides and fronts, except it's a 9 millimeter, not a 12 millimeter. Gone ahead and adjusted my guide stops to the center line that I created on the scrap piece of plywood earlier. Not only does this board have some important start and stop points on it for me, but it gives support to the router, the guide rail, as well as locking in my drawer sides and fronts. With my flag stop set, I can do my first dado, flip it over, do my other one, and then complete the same process with the rest of the drawer sides. The main reason I put the dado in to accept the drawer bottoms on all my drawer pieces before I do the joinery is because it gives me a good reference point on where to put the dominoes or the rabbets or the vertical dado. As you can see with this sample, all the dados need to be on the inside. And if we look where that rabbet is, the rabbet is opposite side of where that dado is. Next step in the process is to cut the rabbet. So after I created the dado, the only thing I need to change on the router is the guide stop. So I've done a course adjustment to move it over to create that rabbet, but now I'll fine tune it with this green dial to micro adjust it. With everything set, I can go ahead and cut 12 rabbets, 2 for each drawer front and back. After I get my first piece cut, I always like to try and do a dry fit, make sure everything lines up and fits correctly, and this looks good. Now I can flip it around, do the other end, and the other pieces will follow the same process. For the wider drawers, all I need to do is reset my flag stop, lock that into place, and cut the rabbets for those. So with all 3 drawers in dry fit, they all look good. I can go ahead and measure for the bottom panels of all the drawers. I'll do them the same way I did my large drawers. Go ahead and measure inside to inside dimension, both directions. And I know my dado, the depth of my dado, both directions. I can calculate that, add that to my dimension, give myself a little bit of wiggle room, 2 to 4 millimeters, then I can cut them to size. So 2 drawers all glued up, third one about ready to pull out of clamps. The next step in the process is to do a little bit of light sanding. The plywood itself comes pre-finished at about 120. So that's the grit of abrasive that I'll use on my sander. Now with everything sanded, I can go ahead and take my MFK 700 with a round over bit and round over this inside edge just to reduce any chipping or tear out. Whether I'm installing 5 drawers or one single drawer, the process is always the same. I build the drawer box, I install the drawer slides, and then I install the drawer front. With these 3 drawers being in the same location, I went ahead and I figured out the placement of the drawer slide, made a template, drilled some holes. Now I can just put this template in here, drill all the holes. I don't have to measure anything. On the larger drawers, I use soft close drawer slides. For these smaller drawers, they're going to be holding manuals, paperwork, lighter stuff like that, so I won't need that soft close feature. So I already have my drawer fronts sanded with a slight round over. I've gone ahead and also made another jig that matches what my hardware is. Put a center line on my drawer fronts. With all the holes from my hardware pre-drilled, all I need now is to be able to space the top of the drawer front down slightly. So I've got a gauge block and I've made marks both left and right to get it centered up. Then I can just run my screws in and then attach it from the back side. So I've got the hardware put on the center drawer. It looks good. I can go ahead and knock out the small drawer and then the larger drawer. With the doors and drawers complete, I'm really excited about all the storage space I've gained. Now I can focus on bringing in those accessories and consumables and have a place to put them. For now, I'm going to step away from shop improvements and focus on projects. If you have any projects you'd like to see me build, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this build series. I hope you learned a few things along the way. Go spend some time in your shop. I've got some organizing to do.